Welcome, friend. Welcome to Morrowind. Welcome, friend. Welcome back to Morrowind, to Seyda Need, and to the Shipyards of Vvardenfell. And shout out to the mod author of Shipyards of Vvardenfell, whose name I very carefully have not written down because I'm a complete numpty. My apologies. But who popped up in the comments of the last thing to say hi. So far, I'm really liking this. Great work. Thank you. Also a shout out to Dan, Shodan, who suggested that I ramble about books and games that have influenced me, which I will try to do. I'm not feeling particularly wonderful today. I'm a bit woefully underslept, so I'll try to be coherent, and I'm sure we all wish me luck. So, having said that, let's go down and see what mischief we can get up to here in the shipyard. Last time we got hired on as a sort of adjunct guard and told to look around and see if we could find anything curious. I guess that probably means we should go back to our Telvanni chum. I think it was behind this wood pile, wasn't he? Yes.
Outlander, I haven't much time.
Hello, Maven.
Well, have you spoken to Antonius Persus yet? I can't tell you anything more until you've gained his trust. You're one of the guards now. Excellent. You're doing well, Sarah. For our next step, I need you to get rid of the guard in front of the door. You don't have to kill him, but perhaps you could trap him in the ship or bribe him to go away. Come back once you have succeeded, then I'll tell you the rest of the plan.
Okay. Yeah, maybe money will work. I've decided to go along with the Telvanni in this. Mainly because, although I plan to run through all three houses in due course using Dragon Break save scumming, I think I'm going to use Telvanni for my main house identity, just because their experience is so much more richly modded than most of the other ones, and also because I have a mild soft spot for the insane lunatics tampering with the fabric of time and space with no regard to personal well-being or sanity. That appeals to me. Oricius Varus. Hi, Oricius. What is it, Redguard? Have you seen anything out of the ordinary? You must be tired. How about you have a drink at the tavern? Here, have a drink on me. Thank you, Redguard, but I will not leave my post. Okay. I saw someone sneaking into the ship. We have to go there now. If that's not suspicious, I'll try to bribe you away. Where is he? Show me the way. Let's finish this once and for all. I have no idea. But he's sneaking around here somewhere. Let's see if we can find a way in. It's probably up the top, but just in case. There you are following me. Good. Oops. Up here somewhere. Don't think I'm jumpy enough to get onto that yet. I'll have to train that at some point fairly soon. I also have to train some brain skills though, because, you know, I need to be more than just 30 int and whiz. That's not going to get me very far at all. There is a ring down the coast. Come out to another train here. Let's talk. Quick save. Okay, quick save to this. Yes. I noticed I got given a couple of scrolls of sealing. So let's try using one of those now. I'm assuming they're relevant. Scroll of the Argent Close, Scroll of Summoned Skeleton, Scroll of Sealing. That's the one. Oh, that's right, I do it here, don't I? Scroll of Sealing. I'm going to assume that did the job. And check. Doesn't say. Okay, that's better. Fine. That won't give us a huge amount of time. So, I trust you've got something up your sleeve, my friend. What are you talking about? I did it. You say that you've dealt with the guard? Excellent work. You have proven yourself useful, Syrah. I work for someone who would like to own this shipyard. Unfortunately, all of our attempts to convince Antonius have failed. We will have to go one step further this time. Yes, we will snatch his wife from him for a while. That should motivate him to sign the contract. He loves her dearly. It will be an easy task. These scrolls hold a spell that would make her invisible, silent, and compliant. I want you to escort her to Thelas' ancestral tomb, southwest of here. I set up camp there so that we can stay for the night. Listen, I'm not a monster. I don't want to get hurt. This is how we do business. Can I count on you? As long as no one gets hurt, sure. From the moment I saw you, I knew you were the right person for this job. Here, take these scrolls. I will be waiting for you in Thelas' ancestral tomb. Okay. Thanks, Maven. Thelas is the place I was mentioning a moment ago where they have the ring, Mentor's ring, that's plus 10 to Scroll of Souls. Is this it? Yes. But they have a ring, Mentor's ring, that's plus 10 to your int and your whiz, I believe. It's a very useful newbie ring. So, of course, they've modded the heck out of the dungeon to make it much more difficult, which is why I haven't gone to get it yet. But I will have to go and spelunk for it because I'm going to need the points. And I also need to do some training at the Mages Guild once I join up so that I can gain some intelligence and wisdom fairly swiftly with some level ups that way. But that's not going to be this level because I've already trained something else at least once. And let's try and stay vaguely focused. So, where's your wife, sir? Upstairs here, maybe? Be sensible. Yes. Hello.
Speak freely, friend.
Thank you. I will. And what I want to say to you is... Zot.
Be careful.
I feel a little strange, Redguard. What's happening to me? I'm so tired and dizzy. Follow you outside? I suppose getting some fresh air will be good for me. Yes, let's go then. I mean, technically it isn't evil if... Well, I guess invisible is helpful. It isn't evil if... I don't know. I don't have anything to go with that. Probably is evil. Well, at the very least, it's certainly antisocial and naughty. I don't really want to come out this way, actually. Do I want to go down that way? Okay. Well, fine. Let's go this way. I will have faith that the mod author has programmed this person to be able to follow me at a reasonable clip. I mean, she's invisible, so she's not going to aggro anything, and presumably it'll all be fairly safe to just bull on through. We can hope. Also, it might just be that because she's invisible, just getting to the hideout will do the trick. It should be nice. This where we're supposed to be going? Didn't actually double check. Somewhere. Wait, did he say that? Did he say Andrano? I really ought to read things. No, Thelos. Southwest. Okay, this is northwest, I guess. That's southeast, that's southwest. Oh, right, yes, there is a tomb on one of these spits of land somewhere, isn't there? Come along. Sorry about screwing with the visibility. I hope I don't need to drag you through the water, that'd be annoying. But maybe. Ooh, a cliff racer. That's unpleasant. What I can do about that. Right, you useless thing. That's our first cliff racer. It won't be our last. Alas. Who said outside the tomb? Oh well.
Greetings, Syra. Welcome, Lane. Let us continue with our next step. Syra, I need you to inform Antonius about the current situation and to deliver our demand. This contract. Tell him that if he doesn't sign the contract, he will never see his wife again. Our proposed price for the business is fair. You need to make sure that he understands that neither he nor Lane can tell anyone about the true reason why he sold the business. Lane, give us your ring. We need proof of your disappearance.
The journal has been updated. To Seyda Need shipyard contract has been added to your inventory. The Lane's ring has been added to your inventory. Okay. Thanks, Maven. That's just not, that could be the contract. Rude. Let's see about going through that tomb at some other point. Maybe after we've gone through the shipyard. We'll see. Oh yeah, someone also suggested that I try the visuals without this shader and letting it be as cloudy and murky as the default pack suggests. I will do that at some point. But I really am enjoying the lush vividness of the swamps. Though it's not going to be right immediately, and besides, like I said, I'm a bit out of it today. So we don't want me playing around with the install one, but out of it, because that leads to all sorts of horrifying potential problems, like getting the whole thing broken and never working again. That's always a risk. Okay, you're not going to like this, Antonius, but it's a hard world.
Greetings, Redguard. Have you seen my wife? I'm a bit worried. She usually lets me know whenever she leaves the house.
Do you recognize this ring, Antonius? It belongs to your wife, doesn't it?
Yes, that's my wife's ring. Where did you find it, Redguard? Where is she?
She's safe for now, but that could change depending on what you do next. Remember this contract, Antonius? It's time for you to sign it.
You're with them? What did you do with my wife? Orishus, help!
I'm afraid Orishus won't be able to hear you, Antonius. If you don't want your wife to share the fate of Orishus, that is, get locked in a ship for half an hour, you should sign the contract. We are done negotiating with you. Sign the contract or you'll never see your wife again.
Enough. I understand. Give me the bloody contract. I can't take this anymore. Ever since I moved to Vvardenfell, I've had nothing but problems with dark elves and uncivilized folk with barbaric traditions. We Imperials bring order and justice to this miserable backwater, and this is how we're treated. Pah! We will move back to Cyrodiil, Redguard, far away from this forsaken land. Yet the thing is,
Did you ever actually stop to ask whether they wanted order and justice of the imperial variety? Or did you just assume that because you like it, everyone else has to like it? How imperialist of you, if you'll pardon the phrase. Excellent, Antonius. Oh, I almost forgot to tell you, should anyone find out what really happened here, we will know which tongue to rip out. Yes, I understand. I signed the contract. What more do you want? I want my wife back. You can have her back, my friend. We don't want her. Thank you for your help. I mean, I don't know. Goodbye. And another one. Quama foragers, huh? Quama are the breed of insects that belonged to that egg mine where all the eggs were full of food. I shudder to imagine. Have I come down the wrong spit? That might have done. Yes. It'd been over there, mightn't it? I was only there 10 seconds ago. You'd think I'd remember, but no. Oh, it's only a harmless wee bunny. Still, this will do. Oh no, that's the place with the slave, isn't it? The one I'm supposed to free. Fellas. Maybe not. Maybe it's the same one. Maybe after this I'll go through and do that.
Let's get this over with quickly.
Maven? Has he signed the contract, Redguard? He has. Yes, he signed it. Here it is. Ha ha ha! The shipyard is ours, Redguard. Elaine, you may go home now. Should you dare to utter a single word about what you've witnessed here, you will shame the same fate as Oricius, which, to be clear, is to be locked in a boat for half an hour. Not exactly intimidating. Here, Redguard, your reward. Talk to Goras Selman in Sadrith Mora. He will give you the rest of your reward. Until we meet again, Redguard. Seyda Need shipyard contracts have been removed. 500 gold has been added. Thank you very much. Pleasure doing business with you, Maven. And I see that Lalane's already left. That's excellent. That worked out very nicely. And since we're in this haunted hellhole, let's go have a look. Never have too many scrolls of divine intervention. That's almost certainly untrue. Doesn't sound like a very good maxim for life anyway, does it? No way to live. Young, dumb, and full of scrolls of divine intervention. Shameful. So, that's it, is it? Okay, that's fine. It seems reasonable enough. We were only here to sort out this quest. Have you left as well? Oh, you're going to hang around for a bit. Okay, interesting. Interesting. So let's go back to the shipyard and see if in their haste to clear out, the Imperials have actually cleared out, and if they have, whether they left anything fun. Sometime soon, sometime fairly soon, I'm going to go and steal an alchemy set so I can start working on alchemy. That'll be helpful. Suppose we could have a look at the tomb over there. I've already forgotten what it's called. Something beginning with S. I really ought to remember. Ugh, brain. A mind's a terrible thing to waste, they tell me. I wouldn't know. Never really had one. So, let's just see what the score is here. I'm going to assume that the guard has just gone. Mud crab. Goodbye, mud crab. Well, hello, mud crab. This is Lou, mud crab, etc. 10 gold. You shouldn't have. Okay, 16 gold. Still. Ingredients. X. Hourglass. Not worth the weight ratio. Not worth. Well, okay, maybe it's worth the ratio. Cloth sack. The other sack, foodstuffs by the looks of it. Potions of sandwich. Various ingredients, not bad. Cheap scroll, no. Shipyard ledger. Might be useful. Really not worth the time to pick it up, honestly, but you know, what kind of adventurer are you if you don't take absolutely everything? A pretty poor one, that's what kind. Letting down the old adventuring tree. Ooh, hello. Goblin axe of poison. Weight 1, value 20. Good enough for me. Iron broadsword, iron long spear, iron tanto. Nordic arrows. Well worth it. Short bow, nope. I mean, it is actually over the ratio. I'll go back and grab it in a sec. 11, 20, 18, 58. I'm not really looking to worry about my armor right at the moment. Journeyman probes, that'll be helpful. That's better than the apprentice ones I have. And ditto lockpicks, they'll open better stuff. Armorer's hammers. Okay, sure. Sorry about the clanging. That was a useful basket. This is the same staircase as the one in the warehouse for the customs and excise people. Much less drugs, which makes sense. So you're telling me I can't pinch 100 yards of sailcloth? Oh, boo-hoo, I'm so gutted. What about upstairs? Kwama egg? Kwama eggs are what should have been in Kwama egg containers. What else do we have? Bottle. Biography of Baron Zaya. No, I'll just take it. Thank you. Brief history of the Empire. Read silently. Take. Cup. The Eastern Provinces. Read silently. Take. He's standing on something. Silver shears. Just need a skull to go with them now. What's that? Common amulet. No. Common robe. No. Common shoes. A pedestrian. History of Talara. Resto skill. Thank you. Comb. Sure. Expensive gloves. Alright. I mean, I know I make it sound like I'm basically doing them a favor by stealing their abandoned possessions. And I guess that's probably not too far from how Syra feels about it, really. Like, yeah, okay, this is rubbish, but just for you, I'll steal it, you know. Wouldn't want to be offensive by leaving it behind, would I? No idea what that is. So, you know. Not level 50, huh? Should be able to do that with one of those new probes. But tools. Gentleman's lockpick. That's the random nonsense I'm looking for. Oh, first time. That's handy. What do you have up here? Some nonsense. Some nothing. Some nothing. Some nonsense. I know I'm picking up a couple of pots, things like that I'm not going to want. I'll foist them on a rail. Yeah, well, nothing much, but it was still worth the lockpicking experience anyway. I wonder vaguely about that tunic, which isn't showing anything. Maybe the game will crash if I put it on. That'd be exciting. Ugh. Stop that. Sorry, just flailing at things. Oh, he didn't tell you we'd gone, had he? Oh, how rude. And how about you? No, I can't do it anyway. Oh well, I'm sure you'll be fine. There's men over there. But in fairness, you were extremely unpleasant, so... You work away, my friend. You work away. Good luck getting paid. Although I suppose maybe the Telvanni will pay you. They still need people. I mean, could be worse. Right, yeah, let's not do that. Let's go and at least poke my nose into the cavern that has Mentor's ring in it. The one we checked first. Which, as I said, I've already forgotten the name of. Celas, perhaps? I know it's right on because I know that it's here. It's this one here by the waterfall. Or waterfall adjacent thing in my head anyway. Yes, water pipe? Waterfall? That's a waterfall. Even if it's coming down from a pipe, who knows? It counts. So this is where Mentor's ring should be. I doubt they've moved it. It's pretty iconic. It even appears in mods for Skyrim and stuff like that. I have a sneaking suspicion this is going to go horrifyingly. Should be exciting. See if we can prepare Hearth Heal, because we're almost certain to need that. And... oh yeah, we should put our sword back on, shouldn't we? That's not going to help. Don't want to try and stab things with a lockpick. Well, unless they're locks. Iron Spark Sword. At some point, I do need to investigate Felform to see what I need to do to make it a bit more useful. There's something about it leveling up if you feed swords to it or something. Samaris, but I'm not really sure. Right. Save. Save and expect to die. Moritori te salutant or something? Wasn't that what they said? At least in rumour. Okay, nothing immediately on the first floor. The Eye of Argon. And it actually is the Eye of Argon too. The Eye of Argon is notoriously horrifyingly badly written book. And for ages at fantasy conventions there was a general challenge to read as much of it as you can without bursting into laughter. It's what the Argonians are named for. The guy who wrote it really didn't like the way people reacted to it, and he spent most of his life resenting it, and it was all quite sad. But it is really quite spectacular. I'll read a bit of it. Grognak squatted his saddle heartily, grasping his virile arms on the silver reins, while the footprints of his bleary horse echoed dully in the simpering swamp. Just live with those images for a moment, my friends. A simpering swamp. And he grasped his virile arms?
Grognak hungered and bit at his mealy supplies. 2, he hungered for the lifting of meaty mugs, the crushing of women in his arms, and the company of men. The robust man enthused himself at the thought. This is actually not the original. This is not quite as bad. This is obviously a spoof version because they didn't want to use the original. The original is quite something. It's worse than this, although this is almost as bad. Instantly the path revealed the feathers of 3 savage warriors of Argonia. A slithering voice was heard. Have you prepared to meet your fate in deathly oblivion? It is not my day that is fateful today, but yours, rebuffed Grognak, coming off his horse as he drew his 57-inch dwarf sword and the forward slooping quills of its gem-encrusted cross-hilt. Yeah, this just isn't bad enough. It's just bad enough to be bad. It's not bad enough to be as mind-bending. Still, good first paragraph. Maybe I'll come back to it some other time. I'm certainly taking it, but 250 drakes, septims. I think they call them drakes in this. Now I've got to bother grabbing all the bone meal. Telvin's courage. Take stock of that at some point. Loot in haste, evaluate at leisure. The dungeon delver's maxim. The skull, that would go with my shears if I could grab it, but I can't. So yeah, books and games that were foundational to me. Well, I would probably say that it all started with Susan Cooper's Dark is Rising trilogy. A truly Bone of Lord Bryn. A truly magical and see what happens there. A truly magical and evocative and strange retelling of the matter of Britain, the mythology behind Arthur, and I mean not just the stuff with the round table. I've got a skull and some shears. Hooray. But the whole Welsh myth cycle, basically, and all the very odd stuff that goes with it. And it's wrapped up in, I mean, I could probably talk about it randomly for hours, but that's not going to be super helpful. But it's wrapped up in a sort of mythic retelling of the battle of good versus evil, and specifically the light and the dark, 2 poles of mystical opposites, I suppose, really. Not exactly good and evil, but certainly, let's say that if the dark are for the enslavement of humanity under their own bad impulses, then the light are for the freedom of humanity to make its own decisions. And even still, when I reread them, I believe in magic again. They're amazing, they're beautiful, and they make the world feel deeply haunted in a way that I'm always grateful for. We need to have a look at this bloody note, I'm certain. This tomb will be the perfect place to begin my training. I've already gathered some of the necessary ingredients, but it won't be long until I've made the final preparations. Those fools back in town won't know what hit them until it's too late. Ah, necromancers. An old text mentioning this tomb discussed the necessary requirements to retrieve a legendary treasure supposedly sealed alongside Lord Bryn. It mentioned something about old bones unseal the ancient urn. I picked up an old bone with some strange engravings on it. I think I saw another on the lower floors, but it's so damn dark I couldn't be sure. Either way, I'll look again tomorrow. For now, I'll see about livening this place up a bit.
The remainder of this letter has been stained with blood and is impossible to read. Only a small entry remains, though parts are unrecognizable. Lord Bryn returns, 1 bow more, 3 in upper, have key. Oh, really? Is it because of that, or is it just like, I'm here and so tough luck? No? Oh, hello. Bye-bye. Kiting Club, Iron Shield, Iron Club. Fine. This is interesting. I am, as you will know, saving compulsively, because I do expect to be done away with fairly soon. Key to the tomb. Gold. Bones that do not belong to Lord Bryn. The affairs of wizards. If you want to become part of House Telvanni. Yes, I do. Thank you. But not yet. Scroll of Hellfire. That sounds fun. That could be useful. Anything called Hellfire has to be at least vaguely promising, right? Well, I mean, I say that. Daedra and Daedra. Yes, great. Take that.
Fragment.
Oh.
By Tors Ilanselma.
Oops.
The Isle of Artium is the 3rd largest island in the Somerset archipelago.
I'm not sure how to shut this person up.
Village of Potenza and west of the mainland village of Runciba. It is best known for being the home to the Sigian Order. Perhaps
Sorry. I think I might have to just uninstall this thing, because this is fine, but it's a bit annoying. I'll mute it in post, providing I remember. Pretty sure I will, though, because that'd be really annoying. Oh, a rat. How intimidating. I mean, you know, it's not bad for an AI-generated voice, but why would you want an AI-generated voice?
That being said, it is perhaps more than coincidence that the Isle of Artium literally vanished from the shores of
There are reasons why voice acting is a fairly difficult skill. You know, I know just about enough about the amount of work that goes into producing an audiobook to know that I'd find it bloody challenging, because it's not just rambling for half an hour, it's keeping a solid and accurate cadence for hour after hour after hour, at the same tone of voice, at the same volume more or less, while you're reading through something you've probably only read once before. You know, it's difficult. And I know AI is going to take all of our jobs sooner or later, because the world hates everything, and, you know, Somerset. Really? Oh god, another archer. Let's try to get out of here. I'm not very dexterous, as I've mentioned. So, archers are an annoying difficulty if I'm not prepared for them. Oh, good, well, there's that. Still whining on, are we? Blah, blah, blah. For archers, you need to be able to... if you're... Hello? Oh, one button. You need to be able to pan back and forth if you're using a long blade or another melee weapon. They're quite fragile, but oh, I see. That's not going to help, is it? Flame arrows. How rude. Going to be that, is it? Skeletons with horrifying murder bows. Yeah, that'll challenge me. I suppose you're nerfing my stats, are you?
perhaps one day I might return.
Not very much so far.
On the Isle of Artium, by gracious consent of Master Sargenius of the Council of Artium.
What fresh hell is this? How many times do I have to kill you? Assuming I don't have any strength at all. No, I have some strength. So why am I having a problem moving? Why did that thing just regenerate? Did they regenerate when I tried to loot them? Is that it? Yeah, it looks like it. Interesting. Does this mean I can farm this guy for combat experience? No, he's dead this time. Huh. Interesting. Potentially useful. Oh, and that bloody numpty's been quiet too. Let's go and recharge our magicka and stuff. Rest for healing time. Hello, Starry Night. Goodbye, Starry Night. So, this is going about as well as I expected. i.e. I've barely stuck my nose into the place and it's proving tricky. But I will try to be aware of impending archery. God, I ran a long way back, didn't I? How craven of me. Magnificent. Okay, something's around. Maybe not. Chitin helm, just pick it up. Spoiled cure disease, that's not going to be any worth any. Another skeleton. Okay, thank you, bonny lads. So anyway, after the Dark is Rising sequence, I was pretty much locked into strange fiction and fantasy and so on. When I was younger, I read pretty much everything that wasn't completely ridiculous that got published. It's impossible to keep up nowadays, and you know, tastes change a little, but I am still primarily a fantasy, sci-fi, and horror reader and gamer. Ooh, that's nice. Constant fortified agility, yes please. The 5 Bones of Lord Bryn. 5 parts of Bryn, the ancient lord who wielded a piece of power, came splintering from his hand and brought his final hour. But gather still and seek to find of fragments 5 in turn, and then once more to seal the bones and seal the ancient urn. 1 lies in prayer. Got it. 2, the hands of man and mare. I guess got that. 3, hidden in the light. 4, hidden in the night. And finally the bone to free is held by only kin deep below, in sealed tomb within the hands of Bryn. So I guess we take the last one from his corpse. Chameleon 10% isn't practical. But let's get that fortified agility glove on, that's great. Magical equipment is a great way of bolstering your stats. Particularly constant effect. Oh, that's right, that's the feather pouch. That's handy, that is. I'm going back to the books and stuff and fantasy and sci-fi. I'm an escapist, and I make no apologies for that. I'm autistic and depressive and I have always found the world extremely disappointing. It could be so much. It should, damn it, it should be so much better. We should be much better than we are, but we're not. We're horrible, really, when you get down to it. And I don't want to read things that remind me of the world. I particularly don't want to read things about people being nasty to each other. I want to read things about places I couldn't have imagined. Or wouldn't, not couldn't, but wouldn't have imagined. I want to be taken to places I've never thought about. I want to see mad, wondrous, crazy stuff. That's what I read for. That's what I play games for. So any game of that sort is likely to have had an impact on me. When I was still only 11, a friend of the family gave us a ZX81, a very, very early computer. And that was in 1981. And I was immediately captivated and hooked, and I've kind of divided my entire time since then between computers and books as much as possible. Some travel. I've lived in 20 odd different countries on 4 or 5 different continents, depending on how you define things. Being a writer might be very badly paid, but it does give you some flexibility. So I've been able to live in all sorts of strange and cheap places, and just email books in as necessary. And I'm extremely grateful for that. Again, very much still running away from reality. Medical necessity and increasing age put a stop to a lot of that. I have a day job. I live in a comparatively normal country. I have a wife. I rent an apartment, that sort of thing. But I still like to escape. So things that leap to mind out of gaming are just the 8-bit years in general were just incredible. Very evocative, tough gameplay, very little in the way of narrative, but the settings themselves were so weird that you kind of made up, or at least I made up stories to make it make sense. That was half the fun of it. Then, of course, Castle Wolfenstein happened, and Doom, and the world changed, and then Diablo and the world changed, and Morrowind and the world changed. More recently, Minecraft changed the world quite significantly. Stardew's been a great place to hide. I don't consider it world changing. Vampire Survivors changed the world quite a bit. That's been quite something. And my list of favourite books changes, with the dawn, frankly. I could never just restrict myself to a few. That's the one light. Oh, I see. Travel Lantern. Thank you. But in addition to the Darkest Rising sequence, common favourites are Sherry Tepper's True Game sequence and its follow-ups. William Gibson's Sprawl trilogy, and in fact, pretty much everything William Gibson ever wrote. It's fantastic stuff. I don't know, at the moment I'm reading the... Ew, spider. Nasty. I'm reading the follow-up books of the Raj by... God. I mean, in my fairness, I'm not looking at the author when I'm reading the book. Anne Leckie. And they're superb, evocative, telekinesis is nice. That's like a remote touch thing. Very handy. They're evocative, they're peculiar, they're quite neurodivergent in some excellent ways. Similarly, I loved Murderbot, and I loved the Scholarman's books. But, you know, I could go on and on and on. And maybe I will at some other time. But those are some things that just leap to mind when I think about the topic. Oh well, I'll take it. I mean, you know. Duh, of course I'll take it. All in the dark. But it's next and Crash Fiber, if that's what they're talking about. This hasn't been horrifying as I feared so far. I've only had to run away horrifyingly twice. But he who something rather than runs away lives to run another day or something. Pretty sure I got that wrong. Tough world. Lord Bryn at the back, I presume. Do you mind? I'm trying to stab things. Can I talk to you?
Who are you to disturb my slumber? Do you seek to plunder my tomb like the others?
Yep.
See these bones around you? Many have come before you and perish. Do you seek the same fate?
Well, not technically.
A wise decision, but I am not so easily fooled. Perhaps we can come to an understanding. You see, I am trapped in this earthly realm until my body is reunited again. My bones were scattered against the wind, and I have spent the past century in wait for one to return them. My patience has been rewarded, for they have all returned to me. Alas, I cannot touch them, for I cannot leave this room.
What do you need me to do?
If you seek to help me, then I shall not harm you. I cannot say the same for others bound here, for they are not here by my doing. Find my bones, Seyda, and you shall be rightfully rewarded.
These bones?
My bones were taken from me, and I was returned to the mortal realm in this desiccated corpse, so forgive me if I am a bit tempered.
That doesn't mean what you think it means.
My bones are scattered around my tomb, and I have been cursed to remain in this room. I have one bone with me, but I am still missing 4 more. Find them for me, Seyda, and you shall be richly rewarded.
As I said, these bones?
Do you have my bones, Seyda?
No, I'm bluffing.
Ah, excellent. Thank you, Seyda. You have done well. Take this as a token of my appreciation, the key to my chest and my trusty axe. With my final goodbye, allow me to remove the magical seal on this urn.
Oh, actually a rather pleasant lich. Sleep well, Lord Bryn. Put the sword away. Urn labelled Lord Bryn. This is what we came for. Mentor's Ring. Constant effect. Inton will 10 points each. That is the best ring in the early game. That did go on, right? What other ring did I have on? I forget. Something. Oh yeah, the third bearing. I should remember to use that. That'd be handy when I'm feeling threatened. The Book of Sand. Books of Sand. I see. A book about the books of the Khajiit. Lord Bryn's Amulet. Restore magical 1 to 5 points. That's actually pretty useful. Thank you. Some gems. And some nonsense. I will take the gems. don't want to take Lord Bryn's ashes. That seems unnecessarily rude. I was quite gracious about it all. For my health. And Neatman's Memory Stone. You're a soldier and you're on a beach. No, you're just a fisherman and the beach isn't slick. A beach doesn't burn. You know there's something wrong. There's pearl in your hand with the foil flaking away. No, not that. Something in your other hand. Don't think about that. Just wait for that cold, pulsing light to get here. It hurts to look at, but you can't turn away. Just feel the waves lap at your feet like when you're a kid, sitting on the beach as your father gets the flatboat ready. You can't wait to go out again, fresh in love with the sea. There's a gentle autumn breeze behind you, carrying the scents of bread palm and prickle spice. Your father is showing how to put the sail out. This is called the serpent hitch. Watch. The serpent goes round the rod, then around itself twice, then through itself again. See? Pull on it. Harder. More you pull it, tighter it gets. Now here's how to loosen it. Are you paying attention? You nod at your father, but you're paying more attention to the feel of the knife in its sheath sticking into your leg. A real knife, not a toy for your birthday, and the waves lapping at your feet like when... The beach shudders, and you're back in the slime, under the violet sky, under that cold, pulsing light. You hear cannons, not distant, but muffled. The beach heaves up and you slide further inland. You see a crack open to your left and black water rushes out. A crack in a beach? Where's the sand? Not this slime? Is this oblivion? It can't be. You're full of life. Out in your dad's slow, stupid flatboat with old man Relar. Your father said to listen to him. He knows more about fishing than anyone. There's 100 things you'd rather be doing, even if you need to catch a lot of fish, if you want to buy Oletta that bracelet you smiled at last week. The old man just keeps talking about the stars. Not how to catch more fish. You can't sell the stars, fool. Sailors, he's saying, even fishermen, especially poets. How can you tell where you are, who you are, how big you are? Look up at the stars, kid. But you know all the constellations already now they settle down. The tower, the steed, the warrior. But you're not a soldier. Never mind you could punch a little harder than the other kids. You're a fisherman, the son of a fisherman. The dark sphere that hurts your eyes is almost here. The beach heaves under you and you feel a terrible rumble from far, far below. So, where are you? Look up at the stars, kid. The sun is fading in the west. You can't see through the violet clouds, but you can see the stars to the south. You don't recognize them. You roll your head side to side to clear it. To the north, though, you turn and... No, they're upside down. That must be the south, unless... The rumble becomes a jolting undulation, worse than any horse, worse than the flatboat in a storm, worse than the earthquake that the deck slips under you as the ship surges forward. Oletta trips and you grab her, always thrilled to hold her, always shocked at how small she feels. You're on your way and you listen to the temple bells fade. You feel the honey cake like an anvil in your belly, and remember the songs and the first dance. You feel Oletta's warmth and suddenly look around for Wayne, but relax as you remember you're married now and surely her father can no longer object to... You stumble as the sands run like water. You watch helpless as the grave fills in, all your work undone. It was the 5th grave you dug in as many days. You look at your brother, swaddled in sailcloth hastily dyed black and red. I'm sorry, Desek, you wheeze. You deserve better, but there's no better to be had. You buried your father, your sister, your wife. You hear pottery falling and breaking in the house, and your feet sink into the sand and you want to pull it all the way in. You haven't slept in days. Your hands, your arms, your feet, your heart, nothing but ache. Your life simplified from dreams of a family and a ship of your own to digging one more grave. One more and it's done. You hear the bells in the village and look down, but there's nothing, no one there, just the earthquake. But the bells are ringing. Is there anyone left? You look down to the village and there's a ship in port. A huge ship. You haven't taken the flatboat out in weeks. What would be the point? To eat one more fish? Of course, you should face death, but what if death refuses to face you again and again? The bells. You get up, stiff and hot, and draw a bucket from the well. You drink and feel strong enough to shuffle into town. It's empty now, but other ragged survivors are coming in too. The captain waits until the remnants gather. The captain unrolls a scroll and begins reading. The admiral has a plan. He wants volunteers. Any man capable. Crown, forebear, farmer, merchant, doesn't matter. You thought you'd come to the end of yourself, but what they did. You're no soldier, but you hit the dummy again. This time you dodge before the wooden arm swings around. Too slow, says the sergeant, but one less bruise today for Nemen. Next. You hand your sword to the next recruit and sit on the bench, rubbing your shoulder, wonder for the 100th time what you're doing here. Who did you lose? Asked the recruits next to you. You've answered the question 100 times. The recruits here never say good morning or nice day for it. It's always, who did you lose? Everyone, you say. You stare at the sunset. Except my mother. She died years ago. My father, my little sister, she says. She's all right for a northerner, but her name is something strange and foreign, maybe Evlara. You have any ideas how sword drills will help us sail faster, you ask? She smiles. You think that's strange? I'm only be casting frost shards. You briefly look up at her hair and her smile grows. I know, she says. Everyone thinks I should be a fire mage. Then the smile fades. We'll get those bastards. We will, you say. You nod. But you're not a soldier. None of these people are. Not until the cold black light rushes overhead and the beach tilts violently. You hear a crash like a thunderclap, but muffled. You almost slip into the sea. It won't be long now. You grit your teeth in fierce joy, but why? You lift your arm to look at the pearl in your hand. It's still partly wrapped in foil. You lift your other arm to peel it away, but your arm doesn't move. It must be broken like that toy soldier whose arms... You're playing pirates and captains. This is how we're going to do it, you say to no one. The little model ships are all sprawled across the beach. The biggest navy ever assembled. Not just ships, you say, wizards, elves, dregs, even dragons. They're all terrible to work with, kid. But the kid keeps talking, moving the little ships around and touching the brand new knife on his belt. The big gunners will hang back here, here, and here. The elf ships and longboats will drop bombs on the dreaming reefs here and here, while the sea elves attack from below. The dragons will come in from east and west to handle those airships, while the dreg attack the coral tower. But all these ships, the kid sweeps his arms out over the vast array of toy boats, all these have to do is get past the airships and sea monsters. The little model cannons fire and you hear them. You hear them not far, but muffled. Right next to the kid, a dragon flames an airship and it comes down fast, engulfed in flames. Go away, kid. Please run away. The airship lands in the sea near one of the little ships. There's a blinding spark and the ship breaks in half, tiny crew members flying through the air. The kid is flung away too, far out into the sea. You try to reach for him, but your hand grabs her letters as she shivers, beads of sweat rolling down her face. She's frail, but she squeezes your hand so hard it hurts, and you let her. When the first villagers started falling ill, the priests said they were puzzled, but their prayers and spells couldn't cure them. Soon all the priests were dead. Still, you pray all night for Tuwaka to take you instead. But by morning, he's taken a letter, you whisper. You should try to save something. You pull the pearl out of your belt pouch one-handed. Try to wipe away the foil with your thumb. Nothing left to do now. You're on target. That cold, dark light is now behind you and it fades. The violet clouds vanish, leaving only the stars. The beach writhes under you again, weaker now, the acid stinging her back like when another sea monster scrapes the Free Falcon's port side and a fatty slug, hooked to the monster's gills, flings a poison bolt into the captain's chest. So you take the wheel. The monster's ichor burns away the port side almost to the waterline, and the ship begins listing badly. There's no one left to work the pumps. But she's still moving. You have to keep her moving, have to get to the target. You hear the remaining crew behind you firing the cannons, but all you're thinking of is how to turn the ship, to let them hit one of the huge sea monsters, or the even larger slimy islands that keep swimming into your path. You keep it up as long as you can without anyone to row or change the sails. The ship slows more and more, but you're here. The target, the elf ship and less than a dozen escorts are just behind you. That northerner, what was her name? She had the bad luck to be worm-burned, so she's stuck on the elf ship. You wonder if she's still alive. An airship comes down ahead of you, ablaze. You see a blob of pale flesh and dark robes hanging from the airship's galley. It turns to you and writhes its slimy arms, launching a bolt of lightning over your head, the crack louder than any cannon to explode just behind you. The Free Falcon splits in half and you're thrown slowly and silently through the air. You land on the target, covered in thick, burning slime, and now you know. You wanted this. You wanted revenge. You croak. You volunteered, you poor fool. You were a warrior after all. The black sphere has done its job and the beach heaves one last time as it begins to sink, lopsided into the sea. All the ships are important, you say, still playing pirates and captains, but especially this one. You draw your knife and tap at the one with all the wizards and the black sphere that hurts to look at. You had to get that ship through at any cost. You can't lift your arm because it's gone. The cannons are muffled because your eardrums have burst. The pearl is a memory stone you won from the jittery elf with the silver eyes. You remember. You remember it all. You wouldn't change a thing. By Tava's breath, you whisper, dying alone on the corpse of Thras. We did it. You can do it, kid. Wow. That was quite something. Probably remember to warn Auril about that before I said it to him. What are we starting to get out of here? We have the loot we came for, and we didn't actually even die, which is quite amazing. So that's a result. I didn't expect that scroll to be so long. Sorry, rat. But it's fine. I just need to make sure to remember to mute that AI voice. Or not mute it, because that'll mute everything else, but bring it down so that my rambling on top of it is a little more coherent, or at least audible. Let's not get ahead of ourselves, eh? When I get to the top, I'm going to call it a session. And here we are. So that's it for today. We went through the shipyard and extorted an Imperial into... Extorted or blackmailed? Probably extorted, isn't it? Extorted an Imperial into selling his boatyard to the Telvanni, presumably for something offensively little, like 1 septim or some nonsense like that. And we've picked up Mentor's Ring, which might mean that now Susushi Sagala will let us go up at least 1 rank in the excise. Not that I think it'll make any difference, but at least we'll have that extra rank. We can go from, noob to agent or something. Next time I want to go and find the slave in the cavern out on one of these islands that we're looking out at the moment, and go and reunite him back with his fisherman friend back in Seyda Need. And they wanted a bottle of brandy as well. I'm sure I can make that happen. And then we'll have a little poke around, but it might at that point be time to actually move on from Seyda Need. And I'm thinking I should almost certainly stash that dagger that we got from the Andrano Ancestral Tomb, and maybe Felthorn as well, inside our weapon collections in our haunted shack thing, because that'll be a nice easy place to remember we've put stuff, because they'll have a thing for weapons and stuff. So that's all stuff we'll have a look at for next time. But for the moment, if you're still here, please leave a like, subscribe if you haven't, make some sort of comment, no matter how fatuous. If there's anything else you want me to ramble about, then, go ahead, let me know. It's all food for the algorithm gods. And thanks very much for watching. I'll see you next time.